If you have ever worked yourself right through the breaking point and into burnout without slowing down, then this is the show for you. This is ExG. Welcome to ExG. I am Ren Eliza, and I've mentioned on the show before that I am a gardener. Still kind of new at it, but with the first official day of winter only a few weeks away for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, my plants have already been through the first frost and entered their annual period of dormancy. You probably already know more or less about the seasonal changes of deciduous trees. The chlorophyll breaks down, leaves dry out and fall from the branches in order to protect the tree from the freezing temperatures of winter. You may or may not know that many perennial plants actually die back all the way to the ground. The leaves and stems and basically what we think of as the plant itself, it all dies and disappears. But in fact, the plant lives on in the root system underground, which absorbs as much nutrition as it can from the rest of the plant before going dormant. And then once the warmer temperatures return, so does the vegetation. But it's important to remember that throughout the cycle, the plant is always doing exactly what it is supposed to be doing. In the spring, we see rebirth. In the summer, we see blooms and boundless growth. In the fall, we begin to see preparation for the dormant period, and then in the winter, we see nothing. And yet still, that time is no less important than the other three seasons. The same applies to your own growth. As humans generally, but especially the high-achieving types who usually relate to the ExG label, it is our tendency to look constantly to the next step forward instead of spending time content with where we are now. But uncontrolled growth fueled by nonstop action and forward motion isn't sustainable. We need time for rest, recovery, and reflection in order to avoid burnout. We can't always be in growth. We have to periodically go dormant. Although dormancy is a period of relative inactivity and non-growth, it is a fundamental, necessary stage of the growth cycle as a whole. Dormancy, of course, looks different in people than in plants, but it's just as crucial for our growth and survival. The most obvious example is the dormant period we experience almost every night. We go into a state of relative inactivity, including a slower metabolism, and our bodies get that time to rest and recover. Although the exact functions of sleep are various and still a hot topic of research, that sleep is needed for human functioning is not up for debate. In fact, depriving someone of sleep is literally a form of torture. Yet, we have no problem depriving people of other forms of rest, even including ourselves. Another well-known example is a rest day, taking a regular day of rest from weightlifting and other similar exercises. Our muscles need a day or some time at least to rest and recover in order to grow as we want them to. So taking a rest day can actually be more beneficial than committing to exercise every single day of the week. Without rest, a person runs the risk of not only limiting their performance or physical gains, but also of mental burnout, damaging their emotional health, which can lead to anxiety, depression, and irritability. But that doesn't just apply to exercise. It goes the same for any other kind of growth you can experience. If you're trying to study for a test, it's important to take breaks and get rest to allow integration of the new material. In a romantic relationship, it's important to get time to yourself and also to spend time just enjoying where you are in your relationship right now instead of always trying to move to a higher level of intimacy. If you have been working on your growth mindset with me over the past couple of episodes, make sure to make room for rest within that mindset. Because the thing is, taking a break won't do you any good without also working on your mindset and allowing yourself to actually take that break. I hear it said often that, well, if you just stop procrastinating and do the thing you've been avoiding, then you'd be able to feel pride instead of stress. And isn't that enough to make you just get up and just do it? People don't realize the fact that, well, for one thing, even once you do the thing, there's probably something next on your to-do list that you've been procrastinating as well. But even if your to-do list is empty, when you've been existing for years and even decades in a constant state of stress over whatever thing you should, massive air quotes for my friends who are audio only, be doing, then finishing the thing doesn't actually do anything to make that stress go away on its own. Because the stress is no longer actually coming from your to-do list, it's coming from inside your own brain. If your mindset doesn't have space for dormancy, then your stress level will be high, whether your to-do list is full or empty. Because even once you've completed the list, your mind is still going to have that itching sensation in the back telling you, whether consciously or not, that there's something else that you're supposed to be doing. You have to intentionally, consciously build that space into your mindset and into your days. So here's a few ways that you can work on that. First of all, when you do get a win and accomplish a goal, slow down and celebrate it. Don't even start thinking about your next goal until you've stopped and given yourself time to appreciate and reflect on your achievement. Maybe that's a day, maybe it's a month. In the morning, when I finish my morning routine, I take about 10 seconds to give myself snaps before I worry about what might come next. For bigger goals, though, you really want to take some time and make sure that you're getting, for one, the rest and recuperation you need, and for two, the chance to reflect on your goals and priorities. So embrace that dormant period after you reach a goal, and goals notwithstanding, every few months anyway, make sure to give yourself some time to stop, take a break, and reflect on the direction you're going. Because what you definitely don't want is to be working hard and pushing yourself in a predetermined direction that isn't even the way you want to be going anymore. That is a surefire road to burnout. And that leads me to the second thing. You absolutely have to schedule time for your rest. Don't just let it happen. Choose it consciously, actively, intentionally. On a daily basis and also on a longer time scale, once every month or 3. This is one of the reasons I keep a planner even when I don't have any events on it. I'll be completely honest, my days contain a lot of watching TV, scrolling social media, playing games on my phone, not necessarily things that I need to put in my planner. And this may look restful on the outside, and for some people, I'm sure that these things do count as rest, but the way I tend to do it is out of avoidance and procrastination, which isn't at all restful because in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about the other things that I need to be doing. It's not a period of conscious, intentional, purposeful dormancy, but rather a period of stale stagnation. And that's okay. We all go through periods of stagnation. It's not a moral failing, and I'm absolutely not suggesting that you should be focused on using every moment of your time off in the most productive way possible, even down to resting efficiently. I'm only acknowledging that it does slow my personal growth, both directly by not taking steps forward, but also by preventing me from actually getting any kind of restoration in my time off. You spend the whole day doing nothing productive and also not getting even a moment of rest because you're just stressed out thinking about all of the productive things you're not doing. It's not a fun way to live, and I know because that's how I live a lot of my days. The line between being dormant and being stagnant isn't always clear, but one way to help ensure that you're leaning more toward the former than the latter, is to have that time on your calendar so that you know you're doing exactly what you choose to be doing. Nothing. Set aside an hour if you can, but 15 minutes if that's all you got. Put down your phone. Try journaling or meditating for part of the time if you're into that, but if not, that's fine. Take a nap, listen to music, work on a puzzle, or even just sit and think. But most importantly, anytime your body brings up that tension or your brain tells you that you ought to stop wasting time and do something worthwhile, address it directly and remind yourself that you're already doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you can actively release that pressure to do something productive. This is how you can make space for rest in your mindset. But when I say to put it on the calendar, that's not only for a few minutes of downtime. I already went over the importance of those hours of sleep every night. Put your sleep on your schedule too, whether that's a literal schedule or even just a verbal agreement you make with yourself. Of course, I recommend writing it down because that makes it way more real and you're more likely to stick to it. So make time to go dormant. Part of moving forward is stopping for rest when you need it so you can avoid burnout and keep your forward motion in the long term, which is what we're looking at here. One final thing before I go. I've talked a lot in this episode about how rest is crucial for growth, and that's true, but it doesn't mean that you should go take a break because it'll help you come back more productive than ever. Even if it doesn't make you any more productive, you still got to take a break because you're a human being and you fucking deserve it just for that. Whatever you do, keep growing. If you're interested in seeing me in front of the beautiful white walls of my bedroom, then go visit my Ko-fi shop at kofi.com/reneliza. Any donation over $3 comes with the access to the video feed for the entire month. That includes any purchases on my shop. So if you are interested in the Roleplanning System, you can pick that up and you will also get access to video feeds for the next month. In addition, there's still a few spots left for the Quest for Chaos. So if you feel like you need a real life DM in your life to help you form a planner habit in 2021, then definitely go there and sign up for the Quest for Chaos. It comes free with purchase of the Roleplanning System. I can't wait to speak to you guys again in 2 weeks. Until then, keep growing. Bye.